Hey guys, I'm here today to try to review The Enchanted by Rene Denfeld. This was the second book that I read for the Bout of Books 10, and it was another 5-star read. My copy is an advanced reader copy, and it has 233 pages. So this is the story of a prison. And it is an odd book because it combines this really harsh, terrible environment full of criminals and people who are really scary, whether it's, corrupt guards or the actual death row inmates themselves. And it combines it with this sense of magic. And that seems so much at odds, but it really comes together beautifully in this book. It is told from the perspective of a death row inmate who sort of finds his escape, his happy place in books. He loves to read. The warden drops books off for him pretty regularly, and so he is consistently able to escape the harsh reality of daily life as a death row inmate, essentially living in a dungeon in some pretty terrible conditions. He's able to escape all that in his mind, and so the narration of this book has a glaze of the unreal. It has a glaze of the fantasy, the fantastic. It really is very enchanted to read it. And so he is telling this story, but we are learning about some also kind of peripheral or secondary characters. There is the lady. She is a investigator who tries to get men off of death row. She goes in and reinvestigates their cases and tries to appeal and things like that. And she is working with one particularly difficult inmate on death row whose name is York, and he wants to die. And she is very much thrown off by that. She investigates his background, his family, his growing up, and things like that. And there are a number of revelations that come from that. There's also a priest who he's referred to as the fallen priest. He has had a very sordid background as well. He's a good man, but he's just had some things go terribly wrong in his life. And so he has come to this prison to do what he can. And so we learn about his background as well. So those are kind of the three main peripheral characters with this nameless storyteller. We don't know who he is until the end of the book. And he imagines things like men in the walls with hammers who dig and build and things like that. He imagines gold horses running underneath the prison with molten gold flowing off of them and things like that. And so it's so interesting and so engaging to have this sense of magic, but also this sense of brutality, because there are some pretty rough things that happen in this book. And truthfully, if it was not told with that glaze of magic over it, I think it would be really, really hard to stomach. It was still really provocative at times, even with the magic included. But I really loved this book. I enjoyed it so much. Absolutely a 5-star book. And I think the most powerful thing about it is that in learning about these inmates and these individuals' backgrounds, it really calls into question who the victims are. And that in itself is a provocative idea. Can the death row inmate be a victim as much as his victims? What defines a victim? And so this book made me think a lot about those questions, and I really appreciated that it made me do that it really pulled that out of me. And so this is an incredible book. It's probably one of my very favorite books that I've read this year. You'll probably see it on a best of list at the end of 2014. And I absolutely urge you, even if you don't really think this is for you, maybe get it from the library and give it a try, because I really didn't know what to expect. And I was charmed, I was horrified, I was absolutely engaged and entertained and ultimately very touched by this story. So I hope you have a similar experience. Let me know if you've read The Enchanted and what you thought of it, and I'll see you soon.